Hello. Oh. What? What?
What?
I went to the. There we go. I hit
We're
the
live.
wrong button.
Oh yeah, but
I was like, I hit the wrong button. I was like, I thought I hit the right button. Apparently, I did not. Hello,
There we go.
hello, my friends, and welcome to tonight's episode of the Astral Calling here on Twitch.tv/TabletopRolls. It's our D&D 5e show. It's a fun time, happy, good, fun time. It has a lot of people in it that are really awesome and likable. And I'm going to introduce the really awesome and likable people now. We are down a Rose tonight. She's spending some time with her mom. But awesome and likable people who are here, in addition to Rose, who's awesome, also awesome and likable. We have Maya playing Rash, Goblin Barbarian. How are you doing tonight, Maya?
Chilling and ready to rock and roll.
Nice. Speaking to people who are often ready to rock and or roll a pair of dice, because they play a lot of D&D and other TTRPGs with me, we have Chad playing Vim.
we're just going on trips today.
We are.
I see that. Okay, I'm ready for it.
Yeah. Speaking of going on trips, actually, I don't really have a good person to jump to from that. So, someone who will send you on a trip of laughter, or sadness, or joy, depending on the TikTok that they've posted before this, McKenna.
That was a rough landing, my
It was.
friend. That was a.
And even landing you can walk away from.
You put the plane down. Hi, y'all.
Got there.
Got there.
McKenna Raitainen, McKenna Ray Art on all the socials. I do some of the art here sometimes, when I'm not doing art. And I'm playing Evie, the Plasmoid Artificer.
Nice. Oh yeah, but McKenna probably posted a TikTok right before this, so after the stream,
I very much did.
go watch it, have some fun. It's probably very good. Speaking of probably very good, someone who's usually very good at hanging out and being a good person, we have Matt playing Darius.
That eventually became a compliment.
Got there eventually.
I appreciate that. And you know what? Best to be cautious with me. I am Mercurial?
Mercurial?
That's it, Mercurial. Thank you.
I was like, Mercutio is a specific character.
Yes. I am Matt, Urban off of various places on the internet. Tonight I am playing Darius, the Forged Domain Cleric. I am playing a Centaur reskin. I don't think I've actually ever mentioned this on the stream. The race or the ancestry, what have you, the space peoples that I am is called the Mau. M-A-U.
Mau.
Mau. It's the cat sound.
Yes. And
Yeah.
now we've done all the likable people. Hi, I'm Will. I'm running the game tonight.
Okay, why was that one so smooth?
Because I set it up for it.
Now that's how you do a segue.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
But in all seriousness, hi there, I'm Will. I run the game tonight. I write the game tonight. And we have a good time. Oh my god, wait, I need to do this. Chad in chat made a spelling error.
What?
Oh, is that? No, that's how you spell it. Never mind. Damn it. I can't.
you were so
I wasn't
excited.
talking about the little
I was so excited
Will's
to get
picturing
to
the little mall cop
I wasn't talking about
segues.
that. I wasn't talking about the
You
little
were roll to
I was so excited that I was
boy.
about to get to correct Chad on a spelling or grammar
Hey,
thing.
that English
You're excited
degree,
to correct anyone on their
that
spelling or
English
grammar.
degree
It's not
is in a
me.
canister that it's been in for over a decade over there for a reason. Will.
I know. God, I need to go get an English degree.
I need to open it and see if mine has disintegrated.
I need to specifically get an editing. I need to specifically get an editing degree because that's apparently like the easiest way into the TTRPG industry.
Thank God.
But in all seriousness, hi, welcome to tonight's episode of the Astral Calling. Before we get started with that, some announcements. Number one, I'm going to start trying something a little bit strange with this show. We'll see the beginnings of that probably today or next week. But for now, we'll leave that where it is. Other shows on the channel tomorrow night, Saturday, in lieu of Salt and Sorcery. We're down a Calf, we're down a Chad. So because it's just Will and Matt, I'm helping Matt build his very first Commander deck for MTG.
Matt doesn't look like he signed on for that.
Well, no, I look forward to building it, Will. I can turn my head, and there's like 2 Commander decks right there.
Oh, well, yeah, but did you build those from scratch?
I built one of them.
Okay, never mind then. Their second Commander deck that they built. I'm looking forward to it.
It's been a long time, so it's still fun.
Yeah. I have a whole bunch of cards sit right beside me to help with Matt's decision making. And they've been sitting on my desk since about 2 a.m. on Wednesday night when we started figuring this out. And then I immediately was like, yes, I know what I need to grab. Yes, Matt.
I was just going to say this because I would love to see McKenna's expression on this. The Commander is a fox, McKenna.
So they're furries? What do you want from me?
I mean, there's a
I look up at the picture of Yai Miko on the wall I have. It's okay. No one understands us. She's up there.
No, I understand you, Matthew. I just don't appreciate it. There's a difference.
It's that thing of, I get it. I just don't want it.
Exactly.
Is this what oppression feels like?
Yes, Matt. You are so oppressed.
I hope it doesn't awaken something in me.
Oh, God. Shut up.
No, Matt.
I'm done.
There can't be 2 of us, Matthew.
I apologize for that.
There really can't.
There can't be 2 of us, Matthew.
God, he's rubbing off on you, Matt.
I will give up a hero point in recompense.
Sunday, Stardew Valley. Stardew Extended. We're working towards perfection. I hate fishing. Oh god, I'm so bad at fishing when I don't have fishing maxed out. So, come watch me fail at that.
Bad in games.
Oh, it's very fun in Stardew. I'm just very bad at it until I have it maxed out because I'm so used to having max level fishing in Stardew that I can't do the regular fishing very well. Then on Monday, Strength of Thousands AP. Matt runs that. We might be a little bit late for that because I am going to a show. My neighbors are in a production and they've asked us to come, so I'm going to go see Moana.
Is it by the Church on the Rock?
No, it is not by them.
Damn.
If only.
We should do a live viewing of that this year. It'd be funny.
I feel like that should be a song by the Church on the Rock.
Maya, do not. Oh, we're talking about this
know.
after stream.
We'll talk about it.
We're talking. Jenny Nicholson did a whole video on it. If y'all are watching this sometime in the future, go watch it. It's amazing. But we have a game to play, and we're half an hour over time.
Yes, we are. Well, 10 minutes because we started a bit late. Speaking of that, starting a bit late Wednesday. Probably won't be starting late on Wednesday, but our party has traveled back in time. To the time before the first lenses of creation were used to create a massive calamity on the world that destroyed an entire civilization and turned into a Magiscard wasteland. They're going to that civilization. They're going to get to spend some time in the past, hang out with Abby's past self, meet Abby's ex,
and return to the to undo the future that is Lord of Light.
Yes. But that's what's happened on Wednesday. Thursday we're off. Tuesday we're off. Friday, Astral Calling campaign. Post-prologue, probably. We'll probably finish the prologue this week. So I'm looking forward to that. But as we are finishing that prologue, let's get right into it. So, my friends, last time on the Astral Calling AP, our party had found themselves stranded on not an AP.
This isn't even Pathfinder. It can't be an adventure path.
Just saying, not me accidentally outing the fact that I want to publish this when we're done it.
Isn't life an adventure path?
No.
Okay.
Anyway, last time on the Astral Calling, our party found themselves stranded on a planet that held a massively technologically advanced civilization. it had completely consumed the planet. Think Coruscant, except Coruscant has been completely overgrown and retaken by nature. Our party, discovering this, searching through the ruins, eventually were discovered by a drone who introduced themselves as a member of the research team. The drone themselves was named Zeta X92, but the research team was a group of scientists who, on this planet, digitalized their consciousness and made a sort of digital hive mind so that they could maintain the ecological regrowth of the planet and watch that experiment play out to see how long it would take for the planet to return to a pre-industrial sort of level of ecology and not being polluted. Deciding to help the party get off of their planet so that they minimize their impact on their experiment, they said, hey, we have this extra astral ship that anyone who wanted to leave the science team before we digitalized ourselves could have used, but no one wanted to use it. So it's yours. Just, please don't mess up our experiment that's been going on for hundreds of years.
Science is important.
Science is cool.
Already did it.
So, discovering that the ship needed a power source, our party was led towards a lab that was researching the ability for Fey plants to acclimatize to the material plane. Entering the Fey lab, our party eventually collected the power source, but their exit was blocked off by a number of roots. After felling the Ambrosia Rose, a beautiful and very smelly plant, good smell though, that had a calming effect, they dealt with it. They destroyed the plant before the party could be destroyed, collected the power source, and made their way back towards the lab. And that is actually where we're picking up. We're picking up right there. Everyone has made it back to the lab, and you have been given a full night's rest there. You've been given food. It is like a sort of... it's a strange dish because it's not like food in the traditional sense, but it's like pellets and wafers, basically. It's like nutritional value. Here's the nutritional value your scans think you require that you need, as well as something a bit more filling. And like, it all tastes good. It all tastes fine. Like,
just not that interesting.
Yeah, it's just kind of bland. It's just like, this is good, but it's not great. Also, I think we lost Maya. Nope, we didn't.
Like bran cereal.
Yeah, like bran.
Basically, astronaut food.
Yes.
Hey, astronaut food's kind of cool. It's got that unique texture, unless we're not talking about astronaut ice cream.
It's been No, I'm not talking about the stuff that they give you at like Astro Camp or whatever. I'm talking about like astronaut food. It's been proven that like astronauts come back with depression because they can't eat real food when they're up there.
Yeah.
Also, like cosmic rays probably weakening their bones.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of things going on there.
Yes, space is scary, guys. God thing, we live in a fantasy world.
Yeah, think more like MREs.
Okay.
I had to quickly Google to make sure that I was using the right term for that.
Do they come in like tins that we pull the top off?
No, it's like a brown sort of paper bag that you like open
It's gonna
up.
be like, is it like foie gras, like little tiny gray tins?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
But yeah, you are all given a meal for that night, and you're able to rest up. Believe it or not, some of the drones actually bring back some like fruits from that Fey lab, and they make them into like a nice dessert for everyone.
I'd be concerned about eating Fey fruit.
I'm eating it.
Yeah, I'm not concerned at all.
Yeah.
Does Grandma
also say
Goblin's
that-
hair turn a new color?
Nope, they're just really tasty fruits.
Okay.
Rash also, for the little like tasteless ration that she gets, sprinkles some like what essentially amounts to like a container, like a little salt container of like goblin MSG.
There's no way Rash doesn't have like hot sauce or tahini or something in her purse.
Absolutely.
Like,
I mean, it's
Zarblon's
just
hot sauce.
Probably has like a bandolier of sorts of just a portable spice rack on her.
That is canon now.
I'm now picturing like the Linda Belcher spice rack. Like, does anyone else know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
In her youth, like she probably had that in her goblin youth.
I gotta say, out of character, has anyone ever complimented her on her rack?
Spice rack. Probably.
Like I said, she has grandkids. She has fucked.
You heard it here first, folks. Rash fucks.
Rash.
Well, that's one warlock patron that Rash can't have. Ka-chow.
Amazing.
Darius picks up one of the little rations, eats a bit, makes that kind of unimpressed cat face, and says, "Here's a fun trick I have learned on my travels." Wistfully, when you're having to make do on food that isn't the most palatable or the most interesting, what you do is you eat the food in question and think of better food you've had years ago.
Rash looks at that and she's just like, well, that's stupid. And she just sprinkles a bit of the MSG on his food for him.
Do none of you have prestidigitation or the ability to flavor food the way you would like to eat it?
Why you need prestidigitation when you can just carry bandolier of spices?
Personally, I think knowing just the one cantrip is just a lot easier to deal with logistically. You don't have to carry them around and you never run out of it.
I don't mess with all that magic stuff.
I mean, I do have magic, but I'm not particularly concerned. The food is just fuel for the temple that is my body.
I mean, you still might as well make it taste decent.
I mean, when possible, yes, but I don't go out on my way to it. I just go to the temple inside my temple, and I'm A-okay.
Would you like me to make your food taste a certain way?
I mean, that would be very nice, yes.
How would you like your food to taste?
How about like
fish?
Food?
I like fish.
I will make it taste like fish. I make it taste probably, unfortunately, exactly like fish because that's the only instruction she was given, and now it is inedibly tasting like fish. Although to a cat person, that might be exactly what the doctor ordered.
I'd also like to
add amino acids.
Bonito flakes on top of it.
Yes, the bonito flakes.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're making the best of this.
You see Milace just kind of like staring at it, and then she just looks at you, Evie.
Yes.
Ice cream?
What flavor?
For dinner.
Vanilla, chocolate, Neapolitan, whatever you know best.
I can do that. I prestidigitate it to taste. Unfortunately, just like Neapolitan ice cream, which means that every bite tastes like all three flavors.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
That's how I would prefer my ice cream in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Vim just like crumbles up the tablet into the fruits and just eats it that way. He's crumbling up the medicine into his dessert.
The fruits taste very homely.
Yeah,
Homely?
I think it probably reminds Vim a little bit of
Nostalgic.
Yeah, nostalgic would be a good way to put it. So he's eating that and possibly sneaking other people's portions of it as well.
Evie probably takes a great deal of time studying the fruits, as it's something that she's not seen before.
And then Vin's just like chomping it in front, like she's
like
trying
a
to study
pseudopod. A pseudopod comes and is like.
That sounds good.
You just hear Aaron Hart.
I gotta get
it. Aaron Hart pipes up Vim, and just like hands you their like big like slice of melon they were given, like Fey melon.
Aww.
Grabs that with one hand, still trying to
Fey
reach
melon,
out for the one in front of
a felon.
It's like, I mean, I literally have cases of this at home. It's not a new flavor for me, so. go nuts.
I was also gonna say, is Milace writing all of this in her food blog?
Yeah.
I need to know.
Milace is blogging this entire thing. In fact, actually, now that you guys have eaten, like you're getting ready for the night, Milace is like kind of like clapping her hands, like, okay, so everyone, as you all know, I have a bit of a blog. Now, it's nothing special. I'm not like, a huge person yet, but I'm getting there. So I was wondering, I think it could be really cool if we did like some sort of like one-on-ones. Maybe I could learn a little bit about each of you, put it in, because like technically you saved my life.
You are saying these words, these one-on-ones, and you are big, but you are gnome, yes?
Yes, but like I want to like talk to you, like one-on-one, like an interview.
Oh!
Yeah. And we can maybe like learn a little bit more about you all, and like I'm going to put it all on my blog, and like this could be like some really good publicity for all of you if this is something like you want to be doing. Like, if there's people that you want to like have hear about you, like this could be a good way for doing it. Like it's good exposure.
What sort of data do you record on your blog?
Oh, I mean, I normally do like traveling and food stuff, but like stranded on a deserted planet. My saviors helped me. Here's a little bit about them. I might do like a series, like each like I'm going to definitely like eat this up for content because like this is content.
Rash is still stuck on the exposure comment, and she's just like, exposure is terrible for your skin, dearie.
Or if it's cold, you can get like frostbite. Grew up in a monastery, doesn't know about streaming.
Don't know what
very
exposure
old
would do to my dermal layer specifically, so that might be a very good experiment. Okay, I would be amenable to doing this one-on-one.
I don't think you all are understanding what exposure is, but that's fine. I gotcha. Aaron Hurt just kind of pipes up, is like, I'm good, Milace. And it's like, that's fine. You're kind of basic.
Damn.
He just like looks, is like, not arguing.
As opposed to acidic?
Yes. Basic, Evie, is like a slang word for someone who's kind of boring.
Basic refers to the pH balance of a substance.
Basic can refer to that, but, language adapts and changes, and scientific language isn't the same as slang or language that people use for themselves.
Basic also is what we call the drills in the army.
There's many uses for many different words in common. It's why it's such a terribly messy language.
Yes, Goblin Army is very messy.
She's saying
this does not make any sense to me. There should just be different words for different things.
You see, that would make a lot of sense, but the people who made language initially did not think that. Because they were idiots.
PTSD flashbacks to the Goblin Wars.
At least it's not the Mushroom Wars.
Just introduces a little fun in things, when people talk and then they don't know really what each other's saying, and then things go awry.
Okay, but in all seriousness, I'm going to go get like a little studio set up. I have like a little green screen that we can put some complementary colors on, so it really makes you all pop. It's going to be great. And she just like goes, and you see her like open up like a purse and pulls out like a full on like green screen setup and starts like cranking everything into place.
Like very Mary Poppins bag.
Yeah, it's like a bag of holding, but it's specifically a bag that she just has with all of her like streaming and content creation supplies in it.
Nice.
Oh.
Evie sort of wanders over to the green screen and changes color to match it.
Oh, Evie, you don't want to do that.
Why?
Because the galactic net is a terrible place. And
I don't understand how that correlates to whether or not I want to do something.
So the way green screens work is that they let you basically replace the image that's on the green screen with something of your choice, like a different color, a different picture or something. So if you turn yourself green and make yourself look like the green screen, people will be able to change your image and your color however they would want if they get access to that picture.
Be gone, bot.
And
I don't understand why that would be a bad thing. necessarily. I like to change the colors and images that I use on myself.
I mean, fair enough. If that's something you want to risk, I'm not going to stop you.
I don't understand the risk. Is it dangerous? Would it hurt?
I mean, socially.
I don't think I have context for the majority of the things that you say.
You really don't, Evie. Did you never use the Galactic Net?
I used, yes, but for research purposes.
Ah, so you've never used the Galactic Net.
No.
I have used the intergalactic net for research purposes.
Yeah, but you've not used it for what it's meant for.
I don't... Why is that not what it's meant for?
She just, like, pulls up, like, a little folding stool and she sits down on it. Evie. And she, like, holds out her hands like she wants you to, like, take her hands. You are such a precious, innocent thing, and I am so excited to open this door for you. It's like, so, in addition to the Galactic Nets, used for research and holding information, there's things on it called social medias, alright? And people on that will often, like, post the things that they're doing so that other people can see it.
For what purpose? Safety?
Bragging. It's definitely not safety. Like, you know how, like, sometimes people have just a really good life? They like to show that off to people who don't. And sometimes if you don't have a really good life, you pretend that you have a really good life for a while and show off the fact that you have a really good life to make yourself feel better by making other people feel worse.
That would not make me feel better. Is that what most people do to make themselves feel better?
No, that's just, like, what some people do. There's another whole subset of people who, like, will make videos explaining things to people. Like, for example, like,
yes,
Evie,
I have watched those.
Like, you really probably, like, research and, like, deep dives into things. Like, there's
Yes.
people who make a living off of that. I make my living off of writing about the places that I travel to, and then people will read that, and they'll say, oh, this was helpful, and then, they'll throw me a few credits. Or sometimes, like, if a whole bunch of people come to my site, I'll get some credits from ad revenue.
Do you lie to make yourself feel better?
Yes.
At the expense of other people?
Not usually at the expense of other people. Sometimes at the expense of, like, a really bad restaurant experience. But, I just like joking about it at that point.
I don't think that would make me feel better.
No, I mean, it's not for everyone. I feel like you're more of, like, the type of person who'd enjoy listening to, like, a really long dissection of, like, some literary piece. Like, you'd love hearing about that, or, like, maybe some, like, science video discussing, like, astral changing climate.
Yes, if you have the reference material that you were talking about, I would like to see it.
You can find that all on the Astral Net. You just have to look it up.
Do you have a link?
I mean, not right now. We're not connected to anything. The space is
right,
outside.
Right.
So, like, I would just be pre-recording it. But there's literal entire search engines, Evie, that you can just type in what you're looking for and it'll appear.
Well, yes, I've used those for research purposes, but you mentioned astral climate change, and that was not something that I was necessarily aware of. Do you have a source on that?
Oh, I mean, I can. Like, I can get you one once we're reconnected. I can send you some stuff.
Yes, please.
If you want to look at some stuff, I can send you some stuff I think you might like.
Yes, please.
Awesome. There's this amazing writer who does, like, this amazing set of book series online. I love her to bits. I think you'll really like her stuff.
Thank you.
No worries. All right, but in all seriousness, Evie, please, I ask you this as someone who, even though we've not spent much time together, would consider you a friend. I highly recommend that you do not match the color of the green screen when we talk to each other.
I suppose if that's what you want for your for your post.
Yeah, like you like being pink, right? Like that was really cute.
I do.
Pink's a really good color on you. It really works for you.
Thank you.
And so she'll let you get pinked back up, and then she'll kind of like sit down. It's like, so, all right, we're going to start with you, Evie, and then we'll move on to everyone else. Just a few quick questions. So, Evie, what first brought you to the Sunseeker, the ship that we were both on that got attacked by space pirates, and then we escaped? What brought you to that ship initially?
Dr. Teletio was making a trip to get research materials, and he asked me to stay at the docking bay where the Sunseeker was, and the crew of the Sunseeker then came down and told me that I was to stay with them while Dr. Teletio got his materials in order, and I have been with them since then.
Oh, how long has that been?
That's a question for you, Will.
Up to you. It can be anywhere from like a few months to a few years.
It has been roughly 5 months and 6 days.
How many hours?
7.
She looks over to Darius. Minutes?
I'm not here.
47 minutes and 8, 9, 10. Is this
No,
relevant?
it was purely me wondering exactly how good your eternal clock was. Have you been counting that this entire time?
Sort of on... I think my brain works differently than the way your brain works, and that sometimes parts of my brains are in other parts of my body, and they can focus on other things while other parts of my brain focus on what is in front of me. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Sort of like a parallel processing.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Parallel implies that there are two.
There's
theoretically as many as there are nerve endings.
But yes, I understand. All right, so that's what brought you there. Oh, hey, now that you're going to effectively have a ship of your own, what are your plans? What are you going to do?
I need to go back to the Sunseeker.
Okay, space pirate hunting. I like that. Very heroic, Evie.
I suppose. I think it's more that is what I need to do to follow Dr. Teletio's instructions.
Do you always follow his instructions to the letter, or do you have any sort of free will of your own?
I think the two are not mutually exclusive. I follow his instructions because that is what I want to do.
Okay. And if he gave you an instruction you didn't want to follow, would you be able to not follow it?
He has not yet given me instructions that I have not wanted to follow.
Fair enough. All right. And then Evie, anything that you want to tell the Galactic Net?
Space pirates are bad.
All right, you heard it here first, Milace. And then she closes it off the interview. That's what she calls her community.
What is a millicimp?
Oh, it's what I call my community.
Why?
It's just the nickname that they gravitated to for some reason. I don't know. They just like it. It's like why you like to be called Evie.
I don't think those are quite the same, but I understand the correlation. Have fun with your other one-on-ones.
Yes. Who wants to be next?
And she leaves.
Darius, Vim, Rash, Luna. Wait, Luna? Luna's wandered off.
Rash.
I mean,
I'll
I
go
feel
find
like
Luna.
okay.
Aaronhart says, "Don't worry about it, Evie. I'll take care of it." And we're going to pick up with that. And we're going to do that scene next week when Rose is back.
Ooh.
But who wants to go next? Rash?
Yeah, Rash looks up as she's got a spoonful of the dessert shoveled into her mouth. She's like, sure.
All right, come on down, Rash.
I can bring food, no?
Yeah, have food. It's all good. I'll tag the article as eating ASMR, and it'll be fine.
I do not understand these initials, but sure, go ahead.
All right, so Rash, you're Goblin. You were very helpful with me in my last review. I was wondering, where your sort of culinary background comes from. Like, what got you interested in cooking?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. Well, as many maybe not so many of my compatriots know, but I served in the Goblin Army, in the Goblin Horde for a very long time, and they needed a cook. So I learned trial by fire for a lot of basic meals. And then I sort of expanded from there. But, after a while, you retire from the hordes and then you settle down. You have big family. At least that's what we do as goblins. We got to repopulate a lot because we die very easily.
How many kids do you have?
And she starts like tallying in her head. Like, no, they died. And she's like trying to like keep the numbers straight of like which ones have like
how many
gone
are
off.
still alive?
Yeah, which have like gone off to which wars and which galaxies, but also which ones have like died via trial by fire. Give or take about now, probably 10 or so.
Oh, wow.
Maybe like 2 or 3 that I'm actually close to.
No, that's fair.
I have many grandchildren.
I can imagine. Do you have a favorite?
And they are all precious. And I'm going to actually go to my character sheet on this one because I do have the favorites written down.
Okay.
Oh, yes. So I love all my grandchildren equally. All of them. All 150 of them. However, these are a few of my special little stars. There's Milty, and there's Eggold, and there's Wirt, and Higa, and Mittis, and Gilly, and Wug, and Bonk.
Bonk. Oh, that's so nice. All right, well, let's see. Here's one. Now you have a ship of your own. Well, a ship that's partially your own. I'm assuming like the group of you are all going to stick together once you drop me and Aaronheart off.
Oh yes, I'm happy as long as I have a kitchen.
That's fair. What are your plans? Anything that you want to tackle specifically?
Oh, I'm just looking for a new lease on life, as the kids say. I'm retired. I have no real plans. I've done my goblin duty, produced many, many heirs for the battles to come in the universe. Looking to expand my horizons.
Oh, nice. Well then, I wish you luck. If you're any as near as competent as a cook and a restaurant connoisseur as you are an adventurer, I'm sure you have a bright future ahead of you.
Oh, you're sweet, Munchkin. And she just gives a little pinch of the cheeks.
She smiles at that. Like, all right, great. That was perfect, Rash. Thank you.
Of course. And she, shall I send the next one over for you?
Yeah, I mean, Darius, Vim, either one. Whoever wants to go first. Who wants to be in the hot seat? And slightly gooey seat.
It's not...
Vim's like half in a bowl of the fruit stuff anyway.
So...
You want me to... If you would prefer... respectfully, if you would prefer to go last, I'm willing to go before.
Oh, yeah, dude, sure. It's like preoccupied.
The only thing Vim cares about right now is his bowl of fruit.
I hand you some of my fruit I haven't eaten yet.
It's to the bowl.
Darius kind of goes and sits down and does that. You know how cats sometimes like sit on their sides?
Yeah.
Does that with the lower half of his body.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, Darius,
For the record, I still don't really understand the purpose of this, but I'm happy to be included.
Aw. Well, I'm going to introduce you to the world and the universe and all the people on the Galactic Net who read my blog. So it's just sort of like to learn a little bit more about you.
I mean, I appreciate the interest, but I don't think it will last. But
Aw. Well, Darius, let's find out. What brought you to the Sunseeker? What got you onto the sort of space shipping life?
well, that takes a little explanation, respectfully. I was raised on my homeworld in a religious order known as the Order of the Tempered Heart. We are craftsmen and tinkerers by trade, and we believe that by honing our craft of forging and creating, it brings us closer to the spark of creation and also helps feed the spark of creation, which is we believe to be the source of all creativity in the verse, so to speak. Usually, most of our order remain on our homeworld, and we lend out our services to those who need it, and those who act as patrons to the temple and our works. But myself and another elected to undergo a tradition known as the Far Wander, where we take usually around 3 solar cycles to travel the highways and spaceways of the verse and hone our craft through exposure to unfamiliar surroundings, opposed to the more traditional and well-trod paths of our homeworld. And yeah, I'm currently on my far wander and hoping to learn a lot, and then eventually return home and share what I've learned with my family and the rest in the order.
Oh, fair enough. All right. So knowing that, what is one thing, if you could discover anything on this journey, what would it be?
Perplexed. I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I imagine that the purpose of the Far Wander in a way is to help answer questions like that. We don't go on the journey with a specific goal or end goal in mind. That's perhaps a little bit of vanity, imagining that you would be the one to find something like that after many who have gone before haven't. It is mostly to see where the path takes us and what inspirations the spark of creation might grant to us.
Oh, well, that's very nice. And so now that you partially own a ship, what are you thinking of doing with it? What do you want to do with it? Are you going to use it for continuing to travel around with that? Are you going to want to help Evie out in hunting some space pirates? What are your thoughts?
Hesitantly, I would, of course, like to continue my journey, but I'm not going to impose any sort of flight plan upon the rest of the group. If they have their own plans to go elsewhere, I'm happy to get off at the nearest port and just continue my wandering.
Fair enough. Then in that case, Darius, I think that's great. I think this is a good point. That was a really good entry. You did a really good job.
Humbly, thank you. That's very appreciative. This is very outside my sphere, so to speak.
Well, you did wonderfully. She just comes and gives you like a little peck on your cheek.
I'll go get Vim now.
Aww.
Vim's like laid back on the bowl. He just looks up at Darius. Carry me.
Half in
I mean,
bowl.
I will happily do so. Picks up the entire bowl.
That works.
Okay, fan artists, I need this picture of Vim in front of a green screen in a bowl covered in fey fruit.
There's like a couple seeds stuck to his face from like a pomegranate or something.
I was gonna say, if we're requesting fan art, I want to see the Milace and Darius
And
ship.
Darius.
You got
Daracent.
this is a very funny thing for reasons you guys don't understand yet.
Yes, it is. But Darius, as you like put Vim down, Milace just kind of looks.
I'm going to be over there meditating now, respectfully.
Okay. She just kind of like smiles at you.
And I'm now going to do my hour-long Channel Divinity Blessing of the Forge, and I'm going to be taking some of the scrap stuff I've gathered up and just reforming it into an entirely new object over the course of an hour. So Darius sits there, hands cupped in front of him, as this scrap stuff glows brightly and just sort of contorts and changes, floating in midair above him as he like closes his eyes.
Fair enough. Vim, how are you doing?
Yes.
How are you feeling after that meal? You look stuffed.
I don't think usually that much about the food beyond it just enjoying it, but this was actually particularly nice.
That's good to hear. All right, so let's get right into the questions then. Vim, what brought you to the Sunseeker?
They picked me up.
She waits for like more, and like after a few seconds of silence, care to elaborate?
Well, I was somewhere, and then they came by. I didn't know where to go, so they offered me a spot, and there we went.
Huh. All right. Then I guess in that case, now you have a ship of your own, or partially of your own. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What are your plans, Vim?
Yeah, no, I've never been much in the need of a long-term plan. However, hearing everybody talk and all this talk about going back to the Sunseeker raises a really interesting question to me.
Oh?
How many people do you think have ever made a dragon regret? And that seems like a thing worth doing.
Oh, I love it, Vim. You have a little bit of like a meow to you.
That's Darius's thing.
Well, this isn't...
The moth's
He's
got
over
claws.
there.
Oh,
That's
I love this for you, Vim. You have like a
What?
sort of like a
You seem really confused right now. But who you're talking to and...
All right, so Vim, I guess my last question is, how do you want to make a dragon regret?
You have to learn a little bit more. We have to see the situation and but these plans don't come up before you make some real contact. You have to dig into it a little bit to figure these things out.
Well, then I will let you dig into it, and I think that's a good spot for us to end it.
And just like leans, the bowl clatters, just like lands and then comes back over.
She puts her stuff away and she begins basically editing it in a corner by herself. Unless you all have anything else you'd like to do that evening, you can get a full night's rest.
Evie is just intently watching Darius do his forgery. She's proficient in a lot of tools. Smith's tools is not one of them.
Does anything happen before an hour passes and I get to complete the ritual?
No, nothing happens.
All right. So let me describe what I have crafted, because I am allowed to make anything that is under 100 gold pieces as long as I have the sufficient raw materials. So what I did is I created a cylinder, maybe around the length of what you would think of as like a lightsaber handle or something, except it is actually, once you twist the center part, it pops open and is actually several little containers on each side, about 8, and they are all little like vials that you could hold, say, spices in. So it is like, I guess like 16 little vials for spices that clicks together. You twist it so it locks together, and now it's just a tube that keeps them all in place. But you can open up and then pull out the individual vials. And
Oh
I
my.
present this to you. It's made of a lovely kind of like copperish metal at this point. Lightweight but durable. So
Rash reaches up and takes it and is just like marveling at it. She's just like, this is very clever. You are a very clever kitty. Thank you. And she reaches up and gives you kin scritches.
Humble. I'm glad that you enjoy it. Hopefully you will get a lot of use out of it. I'm a big fan of more useful creations rather than more fashion over function. I'm not big on that, really. Honestly, I like things to be practical. Not that there isn't beauty in the practicality.
I was gonna say, speaking of gift giving and fashion over function, Rash has actually taken some of the downtime to knit a small tube for Vim. So whenever Vim comes back, she presents Vim with a little like moth sweater to keep it from exposure.
It's never been a thing I've worried about.
I mean, thoughtful, never too late to start.
And there are like I don't know if Vim has wings, but there are little like wing holes in it.
He's like a larva,
like a little larval pupil.
And like, as a kind of general idea, Vim himself does not know what a moth is.
In that case, just a tube.
Okay, I was going to say is like, if you all like kind of get based on how he is, that's what he is, he would not know that.
Wait, should I have made like a baby carrier? Just like a baby Bjorn? Put him in it.
That could be fun sometimes.
Okay, putting that on the list. I can't do this again today, so... Also, I need to start gathering more scrap.
Evie is enchanted with this. She's just... This resembles a cocoon, and it is both functional and aesthetically pleasing. I think this is a very excellent gift.
Would you like one too? I can make. I'm not sure how many arms can you sprout in your ghoul-like body. Should I make more armholes for you?
I have never tried to see how many arms, pseudopods really, I can create at the same time. That is an excellent question, and I don't have an answer for you at the moment.
I think there's actually rules about that, but
all arms.
I'm just thinking about that one monster in Monsters Inc. that's like really thin with all the arms that you see going down the hall.
Yeah. Kind of, if she wanted to. I mean, if it's one, like, 10-foot long pseudopod, that's just the one. But there's... I think the follow-up question to that is, what length and width would you want the arms to be if I wanted to count how many arms I could theoretically make at the same time? Is there a target for that?
More... What would you like, dearie, is my question.
Oh, I like to look the way I look right now. So if these dimensions are something you can work with.
Excellent. I know what...
if you make it a little big or a little small, I think I can either squeeze or stretch to make sure it fits.
I make things cozy. There will be room.
I am very excited.
That's her new project. That's what she's going to be doing during short rests.
After this conversation, Vim's just to the side in the little sweater sleeping.
In his little sweater!
Yes. I've been thinking about doing that for the past 2 sessions.
That's fair. But now we have had that, you all get yourself a full night's rest.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, there's like the drones kind of let you all wake up whenever you wake up. But like after everyone starts waking up, they basically, Zeta X92 pops down and says, "Hello, good morning from the research team. Overnight, we have taken the liberty of installing the power core into the ship for you. However, we lack the appropriate tools. Well, we do not lack the appropriate tools. We lack the appropriate functionality with our drones to produce repairs upon the ship."
You need thumbs.
Yes.
I'm interested. I am more than happy to attempt to assist in that. This is, as they say, sort of my sphere.
Yes.
Me too.
I would be delighted to collaborate.
I would be delighted to collaborate.
Rash
Put it on a
just
shirt.
making breakfast for everybody instead.
Darius has put on a shirt, and Evie's the way she kind of formulates clothing on her body generally takes the form of like a Howie lab coat. Like the buttons along the top with like the extra smock, the kind of double-breasted, that sort of situation. So she thinks about it for a second and just sort of reshapes her body to look like she's wearing an oversized t-shirt and says, "Is this what you had intended?"
No, I was making an out of context thing. Like I would love to collaborate. Put that on a shirt.
Oh. Never mind.
It is an interesting question, though.
I do love the idea of Evie in a giant, like, oversized pajama shirt, though.
Yeah.
That'd be cute.
Keep in mind, the oversized pajama shirt is just her. Like, that's But an actual oversized pajama shirt would also be cute.
Oops, all Evie.
Oops, all Evie.
But yeah, so there are a number of things that are wrong with this ship.
Uh-oh.
And, you know...
Ooh, a project.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a project for everyone. In general, there's a lot of debris inside of the ship. So things like athletics to clear debris out is one option for how you can spend your time. In addition to that, there's a variety of like systems and things on the ship that need to be worked on. And you can do this with a Arcana, or oddly enough, a Nature check. So Arcana and Nature work for that, to like repair basically systems and things. And then for other sort of aesthetic repairs and stuff, some parts might need to be scavenged, so like things like survival can be used for that. Finding breaks and things that need to be fixed, perception, just in general, I want to know how you're planning on what you're going to do to repair this ship. So, starting in no particular order, let's go with Evie. What does Evie get up to on her first day to help start repairing the ship?
Yoinks out her tinker's tools, which allow me to repair damaged objects. I can restore 10 hit points to a damaged object for each hour of work. I need to be able to access the raw materials required to repair it, and an open flame for metal things, but I think we have both of those available to us, so that shouldn't be an issue.
Yes, you do. Sorry.
Tinker's tools!
Alright. I need to quickly refresh my Roll20 because it's not letting me update chat. That's annoying. There we go. Let's do our test. Evie, if you want to roll me your Tinker's Tools with intelligence, you can. 12.
Ugh. Yeah, that'll do.
Alright, and what specifically do you want to accomplish with that? Just general fixing up, or?
Yeah, just general fixing up.
Yeah. You start some just general fixing. You get in there, you start basically like welding like little bits of the ship's hull that have come apart back together. You start putting wires back into like their proper channels and start reconnecting them. And you spend most of your day being pretty successful at that. Alrighty. Moving right along, let's go with Darius next.
Well, I imagine it's going to be two parts. One, I'm going to be taking kind of a look around and just take an inventory of everything. And if I find anything that looks like has an obvious part that needs just replacing or is just entirely missing, I'll make a note of that. And the next time I have access to my channel divinity, I will just, make the part again. But otherwise, I'm just going to find something that needs a little work, and I'm going to use my smith's tools to try and repair it.
All right. Roll me your smith's tools, but roll me it with advantage.
Also, anything that I can just get away with, anything that a mending spell would fix, I'll just mending.
Yeah, roll.
It is a cantrip.
Roll me your smith's tools with advantage.
All right. I'm going to quickly turn advantage on these. That's a thing I can toggle. 22
nice.
And an 8.
Yeah, you're working on some stuff, and like as you're like kind of repairing a couple of the consoles up on like the bridge area of the ship, some of them have like these like big cracks in it, and you're like, where are these different pieces? And as you start looking around for these different pieces, the different pieces just start popping up beside you, and it lets you work really quickly. Like you're finding them really quickly and really easily. Nice.
Can I make an insight check?
Yeah, if you want.
Just about, is something funny going on here? I didn't mean to roll that with advantage, so 10.
Something, I mean, you're just finding it really easy. Like, you're just finding the stuff really easily.
I just think to myself, don't look a gift toolbox in the mouth.
Right.
That's not how that expression would work at all.
Moving right along to you, Rash. What do you want to get up to help repair the ship?
Rash is gonna pull out one of her giant cleaning brooms. And she's gonna just go to fucking work on athletics to just like clean fucking house.
All right, make me a athletics check to sweep, hurry hard. That was a curling joke. 17. You get going. You're pretty successful. You sweep the goodness gracious out of this thing, and you end up clearing out what is essentially the like cargo hold of like dust and like debris. Like there were some like broken metal bits from the ship that had fallen apart. You sweep those like right out of the ship, and like you're left with like the entirety of the cargo hold pretty open now.
I'll also say that if there was any sort of like big enough chunks of debris that look like either metal or like wood, like something that'd be like good crafting material, she's gonna put that aside and squirrel it away and save it for Darius.
There's a very big piece of hull, like inside hull, that's popped off. It's like a 4 foot by 4 foot piece that you kind of pushed out. So that would probably be pretty good.
So she's going to save that into the pile of like, oh, he likes to tinker around.
Nice.
So.
Vim, what are you going to get up to?
Since I can't lie this ship into better shape, I guess we will go with, you said if you use perception?
Yeah, just to like find stuff.
Yeah, we'll go with that. 23.
Yeah, you're walking through the ship. You're finding and you're marking a whole bunch of things that are like small repairs that like the drones can fix, and they're coming in and they're like welding them and fixing them as you're finding like the super small stuff. It's like, oh look a hole, oh look a hole. We probably don't want holes.
Delegation is a good job for Vim.
Yep. But yeah, that's how like the first half of the day goes. Let's go to the second. Back to you, Evie. Give me 1 second though. Evie, what do you want to do?
Would I be able to continue with my Tinker's tools?
Yeah, if you want to continue with your Tinker tools, that's fine.
Yeah.
Roll me it with advantage.
Ooh. Tinker's tools, Tinker tools. Boo, boo, boo. 20.
Awesome.
Dirty 20.
What in specifically were you fixing that time around? Like, what were you looking to fix?
Well, what is there specifically that needs fixing?
there's-
Probably a lot of like the wires and
There's a lot
like
of cable
anything that's
management.
faulty. It's a lot of cable management.
Yeah.
As well as like, I mean, when you think of how many things on a spaceship could corrode, and come unwired, unwelded.
Yeah.
Also, hi Cooper.
Hi, Cooper.
Boy.
Hello, we're doing space things.
Space things.
Space things.
That's a nice hoodie.
But
yeah, that's probably, I think with Tinker's tools, it's going to be small fixes, and I think the things like wiring, that's the smallest thing that's going to have the biggest impact on how well this ship runs.
I think as you're like moving some wires to getting them fixed, two of the wires that are like have like cuts in them that are active look like they're going to touch and like get like really close to like sparking you really violently. But at the last second, they kind of just pull themselves away, and you're able to safely get them like repaired and tucked away. Yeah.
Hopefully, nothing should be active on this ship if I am working on the electrical wiring. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, Evie, like, rolls out from under. I'm picturing, like, one of those, like, auto shop, like, rolling trays. She rolls out and is like, is this thing on? I have been working on electrical wiring all day, and I think that that is highly unsafe and not the correct working conditions. Can we cut the power to this?
Okay. All right.
Evie said, union workers.
Evie says, I'm about to unionize. That's the logical course of action here.
All right, let's go to Darius. You're up.
Actually, I've been reading a little bit of my rules. I'm not entirely sure there's actually a limit on my use of channel divinity. Like, is it once a day?
I think it is once a day.
It's different for clerics and paladins.
As someone who has played a cleric before, there is a limit on it.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if it's the hour-long casting time for mine.
No, it's
I think
like
it's
there is a
channel-
daily limit.
It's
to it.
at this level, it's one per
Yeah.
short rest. Yeah, one per. You get it back on a short or long rest.
Okay.
And what is a short rest, like 4 hours?
An hour.
Oh, I'm thinking of other games.
You're thinking about
Well, then I'm going to maybe look for something that is just beyond fixing and entirely needs a replacement part.
Okay.
And if I find that, I will then rest for an hour and then spend another hour fashioning the part out of whatever scrap I can get my hands on.
Do you want to spend your afternoon sort of like looking for big things that need to be fixed and fixing them?
Yes, though admittedly, I can't really do big things with the Artisan's Blessing. I will read the specifics here real quick. The thing
go
you
up
can
to a
create
foot,
can be
right?
something. The thing you create can be something that is worth no more than 100 gold pieces. Part of the ritual you must lay out metal, which can include coins with value equal to the creation. So I have to use a lot of scrap, possibly.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, as long as the value is, and it doesn't actually mention the size.
So I think Darius spends the afternoon then fixing up like the ventilation in the ship. Some
Making sure
vents.
there aren't any weird little holes that a slime person could conceivably get, caught in. Not stuck because it's slime, but if you're pushing something liquidy over a flat surface and there's a hole or something, it can get sucked down and you can accidentally like slice part of it off,
Yeah,
like
and
a
then,
cheese grater.
disabling fans, and
Yeah.
like having it be so there's like the fans that are in the middle of it aren't cutting all the time. It's just fans at like either end, so that Evie doesn't get like chopped if she goes through the vents.
Also, if at all possible, while I'm doing that, I would like to map the vents. Make a copy of just for the general crew and one for our dear slime.
Fair enough. You can do
This
that.
section looks specifically cozy.
Aww.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because like the way the ship is laid out as you're cleaning it, you find this out. Essentially, you have the cargo bay, and then you have 2 large utility rooms that are empty and don't have anything in them right now. A sort of like crew area, so that has like a kitchen and like basic food storage in it, as well as like a small dining area in that. And then there are several smaller rooms. There's 6 of them in total that could be converted to like private quarters.
Mildly embarrassed. I may have to request possibly one of the larger rooms for myself. I do take up a bit more space, and turning around in smaller spaces can be challenging for me.
Yeah, all the rooms are 15. All the rooms are about 15 by 20.
Okay.
So 3 squares wide, 4 squares deep.
If we have the space, we could also set up some sort of shared work area.
You have 2 large purpose rooms for those.
Like a laboratory?
Laboratory/workshop.
Nice. Moving right along in search of good times and good news. Let's see, who's next? Rash, you're up next. What are you going to do for the afternoon?
I mean, aside from the general like cleanup stuff, she's also gonna like go in search of the kitchens and do a deep clean of the kitchens.
Yeah. Make me just a athletics check to like really get the grime out of stuff. Then. You clean that kitchen so good that you could eat out of it now.
Right. That's fucking right. And that's so she starts setting up and like for the stuff she has with, she keeps the spices on her still because that's her travel spices. She does have other non-travel spices tucked away, and she's gonna like just sort of situate like the kitchen and like unpack basically.
Nice. Fair enough. Then Vim, last but not least for the afternoon.
Guess we'll switch over to survival.
Go
You
scabbing
mentioned
some
that
parts.
earlier, yeah.
Alright.
Just kind of finish things out. 12.
Yeah, you go looking for some stuff. You find some good hunks of metal, and like as it's kind of getting towards the evening and the sun is setting, a set of glowing eyes kind of starts stalking towards you a little bit. And after a little bit of time, it's easily recognizable as that creature, the creature that you ran into in the tunnel. And it kind of like pulls up like some more of it's dragging something metal towards you, and it just kind of like pops at your feet and walks away.
We have a stowaway.
We got a pet.
Well, it pulled the metal down. It's like a sheet of sheet metal that's pulled to you, and it's just walked away. Like you had to leave the area. You had to leave that like compound to go outside and look for this stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
you're
thought
not
still
inside.
on the...
No, you're outside.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have been more clear about that. But yeah, you get like
That could have gone very differently.
you get like a good thing of sheet metal, and yeah.
And then we'll promptly tell somebody else to grab it.
Fair enough. Some drones carry it in for you. Then lastly, it is the evening. Give me 1 second. All right. Evie. What are you working on in the evening?
To be terribly honest,
Yeah.
I don't think Evie would stop working on what she's working on with the ship until it's time for her to go to bed.
By the afternoon, you're done the electrical. Like the electrical's fixed by the end of the afternoon.
Yeah, but there's got to be something else to work on the ship.
Yeah, what do you want Evie to work on next? Like you got like the general spaces. You have, you could go work on some of the systems. Like, what are you thinking?
If Darius mentions her that there is a ventilation system that she can move through, that's probably her next stop, is to make sure that that is 100% kosher and operational.
Okay, what do you want to use for that?
Can I continue using Tinker's tools?
Sure. Roll me with disadvantage.
Disadvantage? Okay. That's only an 8.
You're going through, like, you're trying to, like, fix up, like, little bits of the vent, but, like, every time you turn, like, you could have sworn at one point you turned and, like, the vent sealed to create a dead end.
Labyrinth pipes.
Arcana check?
Yeah, if you want, you can make me an Arcana check.
Sentient ship.
15.
Something strange is happening. Ships shouldn't do that.
Something strange in the neighborhood.
I would like to state for the record that I do not like this.
Closes off another one behind you.
That felt pointed and spiteful.
Yeah. You're just kind of
petty.
Am I going to be allowed out of the ventilation system?
Ventilation system opens up beneath you and you just fall onto the ground and it recloses.
I don't know if they will believe me if I tell them what I have just experienced.
What do you do?
I go over to the group and say, has the ship been rude to anyone today?
Confused. Can you clarify what you mean by that?
Has the ship responded to external stimuli in a way that felt impolite and targeted?
I appreciate the elaboration. That is very well phrased. I am still kind of confused by the premise, though. Ships don't, unless you're talking about a malfunction or something, I don't see how a ship would respond.
It could be a malfunction. I was working on the ventilation system when I realized that the, how would I phrase this? They don't stay the same. Occasionally I will go down one of the vents and I will turn around and it will close behind me, and it happened multiple times, and when I said that I did not like that, it did it again right in front of me, and when I asked if I was going to be allowed out of the ventilation system, it just dropped me right out of the ship, which, as previously stated, felt a little rude.
Curious.
At the description of the changing, Rash kind of, there's like an almost itching in her brain of just like, this seems really oddly familiar. This seems like, I can't recall exactly, but she's trying to remember like a letter or something she's received from one of her kids at some point in their travels, but she can't quite recall exactly. But she says, no, this seems like something that can happen. I've heard tell of this in my family.
Curious. I'm not entirely sure if this will work because it's usually not intended for something this size, but Darius is going to kneel down on the ground. He's going to place one hand on the floor, close his eyes, and I'm going to cast Identify on the ship, if I can, to see if it gleams me any information.
The ship is a unnamed astral vessel. Once you finish repairing it, the party will get to name it.
Not sure what the voice in my head means by party, but all right.
Well, you all get to name it.
Yes, I know what the party is. Well, I'm just.
It is a magical item. It is a spell. It is a SpellJammer. And yeah, that's all the information that you get. That's all the information on the ship itself.
This has been a use of the identify spell.
This has been a use of the identify spell.
Vim hears this, and he just starts kind of leaving the room that they're in and says, "This gives me an idea. I'll report back unless the ship kills me." And he just like leaves the room.
Okay.
I don't think I like that binary choice.
Could you elaborate on your... Oh, no, he's
gone.
wiggling away.
Does he leave like...
but I won't.
Does he leave like a slime trail on the floor? Like how wet of a grub are we talking about here?
He's just like
he's just a little guy.
I mean, he's basically a caterpillar. He's like the type of caterpillar that would turn into a moth instead of a butterfly.
Does he have like spots to scare away predators?
He's got like a midnight blue coloring, and there's almost like pinpricks of light coming from inside of him. There's really tiny, kind of like the night sky, butterfly. Like a very clear night sky.
Little bioluminescent grub.
Glowworm. At hearing this information, Rash is gonna like, whenever she goes back to the kitchen area, she's just gonna like pat the counter or the oven or something and be like, "Well, you and I seem to be getting along pretty well. I think we'll have a good time in here."
So, Rash, in the evening, what are you going to be doing then?
Oh, I'm gonna cook up a fucking meal for everybody.
Awesome. Use your chef tools. You get advantage.
Sweet. Let's see.
Let me know if you're missing any tools or things.
I don't know if I have chef's tools written in here.
Oh, I thought you had. 1 second. It might be something else. I might just be misremembering the names.
I just don't know if I have it added in here or something as something I can click.
Oh, right. I forgot to do that. That's my bad. Give me a second.
Rip.
And for this one, we were using... Are you cooking something you know or something you don't know?
That's a good question. As soon as you're done editing that, is it gonna affect you if I scroll over to my bio page?
No.
Okay. Let's see in here. You know what? I've still got, because the kitchen is obviously bare bones and very limited right now because we are stuck on this deserted place right now and haven't left yet. So what she's gonna cook up is essentially like, imagine, if you will, like a chef's salad.
Okay.
With like a bunch of the herbs and the plant life that she's picked and stuff like that. And then she's topping it off with like chopped up bits. Like imagine bacon bits, but it's the crab duck meat.
Fair enough.
Yes.
The leftover jerky crab duck.
Yes.
Yeah. Roll me the cooking tools with advantage.
Cool. Went back to the core and advantage. Hey, there they are. Boop boop.
Funny. Nice. Yeah, you get cooking. You get cooking really solid. As you're like dealing with the veggies, you find that some of like the plants on this planet are a little bit tougher to cut. And you had started like the bacon. You had started the crab meat sautéing on a pan, and like as you're like getting really into the cutting of the veggies, you realize, oh no, the crab meat's going to burn, and you go to like take it off of the heat, and it's already off of the heat.
You are so sweet. And she pats she like pats the counters again and just like gives them a little polish. You are good mensch.
All right, moving right along. Vim. Evening.
So Vim goes to, I guess, where like the whole power thing would be installed.
Yeah.
Basically goes toward the most central place he can think of in the ship where anything would be like housed or whatever.
Yeah, like the power core area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seems like if this thing is going to communicate, we will communicate in the universal language. And he pulls out his hurdy-gurdy and starts playing.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Make me a performance check.
Oh my
Nice. As you play your hurdy-gurdy, everyone in the ship can hear it. Because speakers are now causing it to basically be broadcast throughout the ship.
cooking music.
Yeah, for those attendants, tools also count as ability checks, so I also get to add my wisdom to that check.
Yep. All right, Darius, what are you getting up to in the evening?
Still thinking about revelations about possible hidden things of our ship. I am going to just take time off from repairs, find an empty room, remove from one of my saddlebags a small kind of home woven blanket laid on the floor, kind of sit down on it, place a hand on the floor, and just kind of close my eyes and just sort of both say out loud, but also sort of like think really hard. Greetings, crafted being. It is very likely that we are going to be spending a great deal of time together, and I speak humbly for myself in that it would be an honor and a pleasure to know you better, and I feel that we would all be enriched if we were closer and could understand each other. I'm not going to force any sort of communication, but if you would speak to us, I would be more than willing to listen.
Make me a persuasion check.
Ooh. With my great charisma, being a huge craft shop nerd. Oh boy, -1.
Ooh.
Nice.
Nat 20! Nat fucking 20!
So, Matt, as you're doing that, your hand begins to feel...
Oh, I should have lit some candles and stuff.
Your hand begins to feel a little bit warmer. It looks like the ship's heated floors have turned on in the room you're in.
Oh god, it's trying to cook me alive. A very slow convection oven.
It's just very comfy. And like wherever you walk, Matt, the heated floors turn on for you, so you're like always working in comfort.
Does the ship have a crush on Darius? Is Darius the like...
Is Darius a himbo? Darius has read too many books to be a himbo. I'm going to interpret that as progress.
Yeah, then it becomes nighttime. Probably time for you all to rest up for the day. The ship repairs are coming along really well, except for Evie's. Are you all going to sleep on the ship in like the little rooms that there are, or are you going to still camp outside of it?
I mean, I'm gonna.
I'm probably gonna camp outside. The ship doesn't seem to want me around it.
Okay.
Oh, well, before you go outside, then, Rash is gonna hand you like a little packed salad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
Back to lunch.
Yep.
This looks very sufficient. Thank you.
Of course, dearie. And she goes back inside.
The weather's nice.
Let me know if you need anything. We're right in here.
If the weather's nice, then we'll camp out as well.
Yeah, Milace. Well, you're in like the ship is inside of a hangar, so you'd be like sleeping in a hangar or like in a bed in the ship, because they have like these like beds, bunks. So your call.
It's less interesting than we'll prop a door open and then
Yeah.
camp out near the door then.
Fair enough. Aaronhart and Milace are going to go and sleep in rooms on the ship. And the night begins to go by. Everyone starts to get a little bit of rest, except for Evie.
God damn it.
Because as Evie is sleeping outside the ship, the external floodlights of the ship begin turning on periodically, shining brightly into Evie's space to disturb her, to wake her up.
Oh, I got a lot of work ahead of me.
It's so sad.
Am I being bullied by a fucking spaceship now?
You're the one who said that they should be turned off.
If only we could get
I
it to...
didn't say that. I was trying to sleep.
You also, to be fair, were exploring what probably is its intestines without asking.
Would not the entire interior of the ship technically
Flashing.
count? If the metaphor here is that the interior of the ship equates to the interior of
Light goes
like
off.
a flesh and blood creature, then theoretically you are sleeping inside of it. So I do not understand why one of these things is...
Oh, Evie, the light only turns on long enough to wake you up. And then, once you're up and, are looking around, it turns off.
It is trying to literally gaslight girl boss you for evil.
So sad.
Evie just kind of turns around with her back to the ship and just kind of curls up. It doesn't work because she's more or less see-through.
Yeah.
And the optics are not confined to the front of her face behind eyelids. They're just she just has optics.
And
So
whenever Evie's about to fall asleep, super bright for a few seconds, then dark.
It must be using its sensors to scan you, because otherwise it wouldn't be able to tell this.
I pull my little sleeping sack to the opposite side of the ship,
Okay.
where it perhaps does not have headlights. Or
Um,
at least to the side. It can't have lights going in every direction.
Or what are the taillight situation going on?
Or you could literally dig yourself into a hole in the ground.
I don't know, it's a space thing. It literally could have lights in every direction.
What if I
More
pull
or
my
less, maybe
thing
not
directly underneath it?
Yeah, it's maybe not aimed.
so you go
but just
directly
in
underneath it?
every general.
I will go wherever there is not a floodlight.
This is an excellent time to
you're
find the blind
now
spots.
Now that you're underneath it, and whenever you're about to fall asleep, you just feel the slightest squish. Because the legs that it's on are going shorter.
The
and,
landing
things-
gear?
Yeah, it's lowering slightly to just put a little bit of pressure on you.
That is dangerous.
Evie takes her rucksack, goes outside the hangar and around the side of it, and curls up in the dirt and the weeds and the plant life. And the drones are probably not going to be very happy about her camping out in where their experiment is technically taking place, but that's what's gonna happen.
See, if Darius finds out that you're going to need this, I will spend time crafting a small heated isolation pod that you can just squish into, and it'll be warm and comfortable and completely soundproof and lightproof.
Yeah,
Aw.
but Evie, make me
A little
roll-
bunker.
Roll me a wisdom check.
Oh boy.
Just not a save, just a check.
I don't have a modifier for this.
That's fine. 8.
Out of
It's an 8.
As between the sleep deprivation, a little bit, you start thinking back through the day when you were working on the electrical in the morning, and the wires were live, and they were about to touch, but they moved away from you, and then you immediately said some way you should turn this ship off. It's if this thing is sentient, that probably is.
You just gotta apologize.
It did a nice thing for you, and then you immediately said this thing should die.
I said we should cut the power to a machine. If it's sentient and doesn't need electricity, then that shouldn't be
Well,
an
no,
issue.
it can be sentient, but still require electricity.
To be sentient?
Yeah, we require, blood.
So is it artificial intelligence then?
I mean, it's an artificial
Also, some
life
of you
form,
require
but-
blood. That's not a universal thing.
You require nutrients.
Yes.
It's just mad at you and not it could have squished you dead when you were under there, which I
Wow.
was worried about, and it didn't. It just mildly annoyed you enough into awakeness.
I wanna know about the hydraulics on this thing.
They're pretty good. They have like there's like these like so. The way this
We
thing
got the
glides,
lowrider one.
the way it glides on the Astral Sea is that there's like these 4 basically like think of them like water skimmer legs that allow it to just kind of skim across the top of the Astral Sea. And then if you need to dive into it for the sake of entering into a system, that's why it has that point there. It creates that point of contact that then sucks you into the system without like damaging the ship. Mechanically speaking. It's a very cool design. But yeah, the next day comes around. Evie comes back into the room and they're covered in leaves and twigs.
Oh.
And a little bit of cat fur.
Cat fur?
Yeah, because those cats came and curled up with you for a bit.
Oh, well, I'm glad they like me.
But yeah.
Shit, pet.
Was anyone else having a hard time sleeping last night?
No?
Honestly, quite the opposite. I involuntarily purred a few times due to the warmth of the floor.
Where did you sleep?
I slept outside. The ship was... I don't think it likes me very much. I think I suggested removing the power source so that I would not be at risk of electrocuting myself, and I think it might have taken it very personally.
You decided to break the rules and go outside, and you went right past me and just left me right there by the door and didn't take me with you.
You were asleep, and I thought it would be rude to wake you up because I had just been woken up roughly half a dozen times, and I did not like it, so I am trying to apply that logic to other people. I don't think you would like it if I had woken you up.
If you were on your way to shenanigans, I would have.
I did not want to do shenanigans.
But you were doing shenanigans. You broke the rules.
From your goo. She's just like doing the grandma thing of like, oh, sweetie.
Darius, does sleeping in the dirt count as shenanigans?
I love how Darius is the father figure of this group.
Mildly embarrassed. I don't have a lot of experience with shenanigans. My experience being slightly disobedient was using like a different alloy composition in my crafting.
See, that's not
shenanigans. That is a very relatable experience.
Aren't we not supposed to be out there though?
Well, the exact instructions were not to kill any wildlife if you could avoid it and to minimize.
Did you go on like a killing spree during the night?
Not to my knowledge.
But we could have.
Then. I mean,
I did not
could have done a lot of things, but you didn't.
Them. I wanted to.
No, I'm saying we could have.
Okay. Noted. The next time I go outside to sleep in the dirt, you will be the first person I tell about that, and you will receive an invitation to sleep in the dirt next to me. Is that adequate compensation for this slight?
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
As the granny, Rash, just be like, well, my dear, this seems like very simple problem, very simple solution. Just, make good with shit. Like, apologize. You did not know it was an honest mistake. And she does the grandma thing of like, apologize to your...
That is a good hypothesis. I will test that. Hello, unnamed vessel. I apologize for suggesting that we cut power. It was out of a necessity to avoid electrocuting myself. I see now that was selfish. You have my sincerest contrition and apologies. Can we be friends?
Make me a persuasion check.
Nat 1. Oh, nat 20! Yay!
We're being rewarded for our long shots tonight.
You are. All right.
Making some athletics checks real quick.
There you go. Nice.
Like, and
I mean,
rolling.
there's no immediate response.
On a nat 20, there's no immediate response?
There's no immediate response.
Evie doesn't really have lungs, so she doesn't really sigh, but she does the movement of like expanding and contracting in a dejected way. It just kind of flushes like a frustrated rust orange.
Pat. These things sometimes take time.
But as you all continue to work through that day, Evie, what are you going to get up to? Ship repairs are pretty close to being done. It's mainly just like the systems need to be reconfigured and refitted, and the bridge needs to be repaired.
Darius, the systems need rebooting, but I do not know if the ship will allow me to work on that. Evie is still outside the ship, just kind of like circling it, trying to see if there's a way to get at the systems without touching anything else on the ship.
There is. You have to be inside the ship. The system's like main area, like the main CPU of the ship is inside the power area where Vim was last night.
So I do have to be inside the ship. Like, yes. She's looking for like some weird, like maybe panel along the bottom that might help with this, and there's just not.
Everything else has to be inside the ship at this point.
Oh, of course.
I was gonna say that Darius would be happy to let you kind of ride side saddle as we take a kind of tour of the outside of the ship.
In the side saddle with the plotted.
Well, no, like ride side saddle, as in where you sit on the, like, you know, when you sit on a horse, but you're like.
I know what you mean.
Yes.
My dad was a horse guy,
okay.
So.
Concern. While I would prefer that we overcome this obstacle in the relationship you have with the ship, I'm still trying to quantify what this consciousness is, or if it's simply a strange sympathetic function of the ship's systems. But I'd be more than willing to follow your directions if we need to do it that way. I'm more of the nuts and bolts person. I don't deal well with the software, you could say.
I like software and hardware and firmware and virtually anything involved with technology. Unfortunately, I don't think this piece of technology likes me. So perhaps instructing you to do things for me might be an adequate compromise. It seems to like you, and it seems to like Vim, and it seems to like Rash, and I...
Hopeful. Perhaps it just needs to get to know you a little better. Perhaps there was just a stumble on the first impression, however unintentional it was.
That is certainly one theory.
I mean, it did start by helping you.
Who said that?
I don't think... that wasn't something that came across to Evie in the moment of, like, these things magically went... Like, the way you first described it, and I think the way Evie initially saw it, is, like, they just happened not to touch.
Fair enough.
Like, it was just, like, a lucky thing.
Yeah. Evie, when you get in there, you can make me an Arcana check. No disadvantage or advantage. Just straight up.
18.
Yeah, as like you're starting to work on systems, you're getting things going, you're rebooting stuff, and doesn't seem to be getting in your way. Like nothing's getting in your way, nothing's like stopping you.
Well, keep in mind she's mostly directing Darius.
Yeah, like nothing's stopping the two of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like as you're like riding side saddle, like a lot of these hallways are like pretty tight. You would think you'd be hitting your head on like the bulkhead or having to duck, but you haven't had to.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Speaking of Darius, you're helping out Evie. So that'll be you. Rash and Vim, what do the two of you want to do?
So Rash is actually gonna go find Vim.
Okay.
And she's just gonna be like, so, you want to go out exploring?
Yes.
And Rash picks up Vim and like places. I assume Vim is small enough for this. But,
he's very small.
Places him on her shoulder, and they go out a little bit further past the ship, even though they have been told not to. But she's going to do it under the reasoning that they need more rations for their journey, and as there's no supply store here, they will have to. She's going to do her best not to like interfere with any wildlife or anything like that. But she's going to gather materials. But they will be breaking the rules by going past the boundary of the ship.
We can't let the only
like I said,
person...
The only rules that you really had were to minimize your impact on the experiment and not kill any animals. It wasn't like you can't leave. They're not keeping you trapped inside. You can walk outside.
I don't know, just earlier they seemed a little pressed about...
She interpreted because she was like picking the plant life earlier.
Yeah, they didn't like take it.
Seem to like that.
They didn't love it.
They didn't love it.
Yeah, they seemed a little pressed about certain things earlier. Yeah, we can't let Evie be the only person here to press against those boundaries.
And Rash is absolutely gonna do that as a chaos gremlin.
Right, make me a survival check with advantage because Vim's going to be with you.
Sweet. A check?
Yep, survival.
There it is. Oh, I only have a +1 to this.
Yeah, you two go exploring a little bit. You don't get lost. Nothing really crazy found. You find like some more buildings that look cool. You find what probably was once like a big stadium that's been like super overgrown. But it seems like a lot of like the wildlife is just generally avoiding you.
Okay. Can I possibly look around for tracks for the little furry cuties?
Make me a perception check. DC is 16 for them.
A perception, you say?
Mm-hmm.
You want to do separate checks? Instead of one of us with advantage, do separate?
Yeah, I would like that. Yes.
Oh, I didn't roll that very well. Nice.
That's fine. I'll just crit. That's
Maya,
fine.
you see them heading back towards like that tunnel.
Oh, I'm gonna call out to them. Oh, friends. And she'll pull out like whatever the rest of the meat that she has, whatever rest of the duck crab meat she's got, and she's gonna like kind of offer them the rest of the like the raw meat.
They will
stuff.
take it and eat it. Scarf, scarf, scarf.
Yeah.
Nuzzle, scarf, scarf, scarf. Nuzzle, nuzzle, nuzzle.
She's just like, yes. And she gives them scritches, and she's just like, I have avenged your loved one. You may rest easy now.
Nuzzle, nuzzle.
Very serious and very direct.
Some emotional whiplash there.
Yeah, but by the time you and Vim make it back, Darius and Evie have completed repairs on the ship.
Yay!
So it is now fully functional. Earnhardt had been helping out with like some of like the main like cabin, like the main cockpit area, like the main crew captain's chair area. Earnhardt and Milace had basically been going around doing cosmetic repairs this entire time. So like Earnhardt's been like mending fabric to make the cushions back, and Milace has been offering moral support.
Amazing.
But she has like taken like a number of like paint swatches and be like, oh, this would be a nice color.
Cute.
It's like interior designing your ship for you.
Amazing. You'll love to see it.
But yeah, It is ready to launch. The drones kind of lower as you finish up the repairs. The research team has one of those drones fly in, and Evie, designation. Research team would like to provide you with promised data, and a small memory stick pops out.
Cute.
This is a copy of all of our current research with the location of this facility scrubbed from its data. If you would be so kind as to scrub that location from the ship's navigational computers, once you have left the system, that would be highly appreciated.
I will do my best.
All the lights in the docking bay turn red.
Oh no!
Evie, it is imperative for our experiment to continue undisturbed. Do we need to take action to protect our experiment?
How does the ship feel about stuff? That's what I want to know.
Ship's not doing anything. It's just a ship. I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all are crazy.
No,
feel like we're being gaslit.
you will not need to take initiative.
Lights go back to normal.
Thank you for the data.
Yeah.
Vim is just like,
What?
she's doing more shenanigans without me.
See, very different. Very not a Darius thought has crossed my mind. This is D&D intrusive thoughts, but we should strafe the planet on the way as we leave.
I can't let you do that, Evie.
Vim's waiting for the drones to leave the ship.
Yeah, drones leave the ship.
Give me your answer.
They didn't ask the rest of us.
No, they didn't.
Concerned. I don't like the energy that is causating in this room.
Whisper to the console of the ship, and I'm just like, I did not think it would be appropriate to scrub your memory or navigation system without your express consent.
Aww.
I hope that is appropriate.
Girl, Evie,
Also, the destruction of information and knowledge seems antithetical to a lot of what I stand for, so... Do you think they will be mad?
The ship's lights just turned red for a second. And then
Is the ship mad again?
No, I think that was it trying to respond to you. And also,
answering your question.
This is now the first time it's responded to any of y'all. Actively.
Amazing.
Your mic's not picking you up. Your mic's not
I said,
picking up.
okay, we can't tell them that you know things then.
Green lights. Well, actually, it's a deep blue cyan, but yeah. So, Aaronhart kind of sits in one of the navigational spots and be like, so where do we want to head?
Probably just off the planet first.
Yes, I mean...
You were saying that you wanted to go back to... Oh, what was it? What did he say? The Gilded Garden? Or was it Ambrosia Rose?
It was the Ambrosia Rose system. I'm trying to make it back to school.
Yes, you said there would be radio to contact... Okay.
Now, to be fair, we have a working ship now. We could just head straight there.
Did you not want to go back to school?
I do want to go back to school. We don't need a radio, though, to do that. You could just drop me off, and then I could give you a reward for doing so. The payment for the Sunseeker was meant to be... The payment for the Sunseeker was meant to be given by the school upon arrival, so there's no reason why you couldn't collect that.
Interesting.
There's plenty of reasons. It sounds like for us to collect that.
I would agree. Do we have the coordinates for the Sunseeker?
The Sunseeker's a ship. I don't have those coordinates. I'm saying if I'm dropped off in the Ambrosia Rose system where I need to go, the payment for the Sunseeker would be given to you.
Yes, of course, it's excellent. I just wanted to know what the fastest way back to the Sunseeker might be.
Well, I mean, if the ship has been taken by astral pirates, well, you would need to find it in the astral sea again. Now, granted, like, if we get to the Ambrosia Rose system, the Sigalant has a good amount of resources. We could help you.
Sir, who?
The Sigalant, the noble governance of the Astral Elf Society?
Last name Grixley by any chance?
No, it's Sigalant. The full name is
Sigalant. It's a different gallant?
No, it's Sigalant. Sigalant. It's the Sigalant. It is in the player's handout. It is the collection of Astral Elf nobles who oversee and govern each of the systems they control. Because I myself am technically... Well, I'm not a member of it yet. My father is, but... I am an archducal candidate.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Rash will turn to Evie and be like, why don't we head there and see what information we can dig up, no?
Agreed.
Resources could be useful if we're going to become a dragon's nightmare.
The monetary
Concerned.
reward.
This is the first time I'm hearing of... Oh, the dragon that interrupted our trip before.
Yes.
Oh,
Is there another dragon we should
Are
be
we
worried
planning on
about?
revenge?
Yes, Evie's been planning revenge this entire time.
I feel like planning revenge is a rather reductive... I don't know if that's what I would call it. I just want to get back to the Sunseeker, even if it is to hide in the vents until... Well, okay, it sounds a little bit cowardly to say that out loud, but as long as I am there, then the doctor will know where to find me.
There's in seeking revenge.
But if you were there and it was safer, you'd prefer that, wouldn't you?
Oh, I have no opposition to hurting the dragon and getting rid of it.
So if you
concerned,
prefer
I'm
it
once
to be
again
safer,
concerned about the energy that is forming in this
if you
moment.
prefer it to be safer when we're there, then the course of action dictates revenge.
Turning to Darius, I just go, no, it's fine. See, because it's just retaliation. Revenge is just another word for retaliation. We are perhaps a response that the dragon started.
As less of a revenge, more of a liberation, I think
He
is
fucked
the more
around and
adequate.
Going to find out.
Liberation is the method of our revenge.
Two things can be true.
I mean...
Glad we've come to this agreement.
Slightly exasperated. I am not a aggressive or confrontational person by nature, but I also won't oppose the group's decision.
Chaos party.
If you like the idea of liberation better, you may use that term.
I'm not necessarily comfortable putting a label on any part of it because that means we're going to be doing it and we're needing to justify it. But I understand that there could be perhaps someone who needs help or rescuing or something that needs repairing.
You are science engineer, Kat, yes?
I mean, I like to think myself of more as a scholar and a pilgrim.
Logically, though, you think logically, yes?
I do like to be rational in my dealings with the world. Yes.
Or you are perhaps familiar with phrase, every action has equal opposite reaction, yes?
I feel like this is being brought into a very alien context.
I actually think that's the exact right context.
I was thinking, don't start none, won't be none, but yeah, that works too.
I have never heard that one.
Sometimes the doctor would say, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and I do think that may apply to our situation.
Yes, in Goblin War, have similar phrase of fuck around and find out.
Is it just,
Oh, I like that one. It is more concise.
is it getting hot in here, or is it just the floor again?
I think it may be the floor. Is the ship heating you? Okay.
I also admit it frequently kind of makes me sleepy. It's very comfortable.
That has stopped for the day. After the last day, it stopped. It's no longer doing that.
I remember their warmth.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, Earnhardt just kind of speaks up, says, I mean, like, either way, the journey to the Ambrosia Rose system will at the very least take us a few days on astral travel, so we definitely have time to think about it along the way.
Yes. So we should get going.
Yeah.
Smart.
Well then, let's head out, I guess. And yeah, each there's like a whole bunch of chairs on here. There's a bunch of stations that you can each like sit at. I guess all I need to ask is this: who's driving?
That depends. What skills are required to operate this vehicle?
Well, not much is actually required to operate a SpellJammer or an Astral Ship. Specifically, using it just requires you to attune to it. I will say your ship will use like your initiative and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If ship combat were to happen.
Mm.
But otherwise, there's no real like specific skills to driving. If you want to do like trick flying, I would maybe say like acrobatics or arcana.
It doesn't necessitate like the use of spell slots or anything?
No.
Interesting.
They took that out.
Yeah, I remember that being a thing in another campaign before they released SpellJammer for 5e. I had a DM that was like, if they're not going to give it to us, I will. And we were using spell slots. It was fun.
They took that out. You no longer have to expend spell slots to use spell jamming helms.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that one character's no longer trapped on that island because all the spellcasters in their party got killed.
Yeah.
Well, does the ship have a preference in who operates them?
There's pointedly doesn't look anyone in the eye.
Pronouns.
Ship and ship.
Ship self.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, it doesn't have any reaction to you. Be like, do you prefer who drives you? You know, just keep in mind it has a personality of its own. And if you drive it poorly and hit things, it probably won't want you driving it.
Perhaps I should take a step back.
Out of curiosity,
tenuous at best.
Out of curiosity, what kind of skill checks are going to be involved in this? Do we know?
None. That's just driving.
What I was asking.
It's just driving a ship. There are no skills attached to it. If you want to do fancy flying, it's Arcana and Acrobatics.
What about flying casually?
I have good
And
Arcana
flying
and
casually.
advantage on Acrobatics, so it might not be a bad idea to give it a try.
Evie, do you want to
We
drive?
support you and we believe in you.
Okay.
You get into the helm, Evie, and the seat warms up slightly.
Aww.
Oh, that is comfortable.
And what would you like to do?
I would like to go to the Ambrosia Rose Galaxy, please.
It's just kind of like there's some beeps, like, and then like a little like steering wheel pops up in front of you. That's like a little pilot's chair, like you would a plane.
Uh-huh.
Do you take off? Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
I roll it. I make sure it's out of the hangar.
Yeah.
Is it? What's okay? Me as McKenna, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is like a landing strip, like takeoff
No, it's like
situation? Is it like a straight up sort of?
It's like it's like a straight up.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I do.
Awesome. Yeah, you lift up. The hangar opens up, and you fire off, going up higher into the sky until eventually you are in space. And as you are in space, a couple of things happen.
Uh-oh.
Explosive decompression.
As you exit the planet's atmosphere, the planet begins to shift and almost phases out of existence temporarily. And all of the ship's sensors begin to light up with some beeping and blinking. The star behind you is going supernova. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Forgot about that.
I had not forgot about that.
Straight up forgot about it.
I had, but I just find it so weird that anyone's ever around when a star supernovas, because, it's like a process that takes millions of years.
Yeah.
If no one's around for a star supernova, does it really happen?
It doesn't really
Yes, because you
supernova.
can still see it for millions of years later, because that's how long it takes for the light to reach us. There are stars in our sky right now that are dead, but the light hasn't finished reaching us.
There is one more thing before we end the stream tonight, though. Now that you're in space, a cutaway. You see a dingy bar with like a big circular central like bar area with a whole bunch of different alcohol bottles and stuff behind it, and like a flat top grill with a number of screens that are just playing like what appear to be general entertainment, like some sort of sports ball. And this bar is just pumping. It is full of people. The door opens, the door closes. That all happens, but then the screens start blinking with a breaking news. And standing on the screen now is a young human woman with this like lovely like dual pony with like one that's purple and one that's green. And she stands there, says, "Hello, my friends, and welcome to some breaking news. Another ship has been attacked on a planar dive, but luckily a survivor has managed to escape the celestial pirates that attacked it. Where I'm here with that survivor, Valduke Orley." And standing beside her, is Valduke, the human presentation of that black dragon. "Mr. Valduke Orley, what happened? What was going on?" And they just kind of hold the mic down, and, "Oh, it was awful. I was taking some items to the Ambrosia Rose system to sell, as I am a merchant. And the ship was attacked by a dragon. It was taken. And more importantly, I believe the ship had some people on it that were allowing the dive crashes the location." "Oh, can you describe it more?" "Yes, of course. There were some new hires to the crew. A larval person, a slime person, a cat person, and a goblinoid."
I don't even think
That feels very reductive.
I don't even think I'm that new.
And he begins describing each of your characters to the news organization. "I'm convinced that they were the ones leaking the information to the space pirates, and were definitely instrumental in the ship's taking, perhaps in more ships taking." And then the news anchor pops to hear back, "You've heard it here first." All right, well, you know what? Thank you so much for tuning into this breaking news, and we'll be back in a few hours with more on this story.
I can't revenge on him.
Then, like, a small board pops up. Like, there's, like, a notice board in the bar, and, like, a bounty now pops up with your images from Gilded Gate, kind of cycling through all of you. And as that
It's nice to feel wanted.
As that bounty board pops up, you see a sort of white-scaled hand grab it, and then fly back towards the table where there's a woman sitting there. And they kind of like pet the owner of this scaled hand, and the camera zooms out to reveal that it's a very small, like, white dragon. "Oh, is this the one you want next, Eris?" And they pull up the bounty with each of you. "Yes, I think this will be a wonderful hunt." And that's where we're going to end the session. So thank you so much for coming to tonight's episode of The Astral Calling here on twitch.tv/tabletop rolls. Don't forget to check out our many other shows and tune in next week for the exciting conclusion of our prologue before we go into the campaign proper. We will see you all on the next one. Bye-bye!
Gonna make 2 dragons regret.
Revenge all over his ass.